Hey bitches, it's Johnny, back with another video. So for this video, I wanted to do a fantasy season. I just watched Angel Cake Entertainment's Island 2 fantasy cast. They've done a couple other ones, and I just thought it was a cool idea. I've actually done 3 of them, but I'm gonna post them in separate videos, so it's not one long video. So the first season that I did is called Clash of the Titans. It's a rival season. I know some of you are going to be like, whatever about that, but I personally love the rival season and watching people who don't really get along work together. So the way that I formatted the season is that the first place team to win the daily challenge becomes the power couple, and then they get to pick 2 possible people to go into elimination. And then of those 2 people, the house gets to pick which one goes in. And then the team that gets picked to go in can pick any other team that's not the power couple. And the way the final would work is that the top 4 teams would make it, and then there's 3 stages of the final, and the last place team in each stage gets cut, and then in the last stage, it's the 2 top teams, and whoever wins. There isn't a steal the money option. I'm over it. It's annoying, period. I love Ashley. I agreed with her decision, but I'm not doing that, so whatever. I have 14 teams that I have cast, and then 3 alternates. So the first team is Bananas and Ashley. Obviously, we just saw their big blowout in Total Madness, so they felt like an obvious choice for this. The next team that I picked is Cara and Jordan. Their rivalry stems back to Dirty 30 in the Redemption House, where Jordan basically said that he didn't want to run a final with Cara because she's too emotional and doesn't perform well under pressure. And then it has continued since to War of the Worlds 2. The next pairing that I have is Jay and Michaela Bradshaw from Survivor 33, Millennials vs. Gen X. For those of you who didn't watch that show, Jay and Michaela were in an alliance together, and then in the tribal council right before the merge, Jay blindsided Michaela and she went home. So they seemed like a good fit. I've been dying to see Michaela make her debut on the challenge. I think she would absolutely dominate, and with Jay as her partner, I think they could be one of the top contenders. So the next team that I picked is Bailey and Tyler Crispin from Big Brother 20. I know he has said that he doesn't want to do it, but this is a fantasy cast, so I don't give a fuck. They had a very tumultuous, eruptive relationship on Big Brother 20. They were working together, but then Tyler kind of got a little shady, and Bailey called him out in a big way, so yeah, I would like to see their dichotomy when they have to work together. The next team that I picked is kind of a spoiler for the season. Josh and Melissa apparently get into a big argument this season, so I put them on the list. I think a lot of this cast, if it was to happen, would be more recent arguments, so it felt appropriate. The next one that I have on the list is Dee and Rogan. Obvious reasons, I'm not going to go deep into it because we're all watching it play out, whatever. The next team is Anissa and CT. Anissa had gotten injured on Champs vs. Stars and had felt like CT didn't really give a shit about her, so they had a spat at the reunion. And I think it hasn't really played out that much since, but I kind of feel like there's still a little bit of there, so I would like to see how they work together. The next team that I have is Bear and Georgia. Obviously, they were a thing the past couple seasons, but I don't know where they stand right now, but it was a tumultuous relationship, so I'd like to see the dichotomy of them having to be partnered together. The next team that I have is Paul Abrahamian and Davon from Big Brother 18. Davon and Paul were kind of the two quote-unquote big dogs of that season, and what I mean by that is they were the two people that were trying to make the biggest moves, and obviously that interfered with one another, so they were butting heads like crazy. So I would like to see what happens when they're working together instead of against each other. The next team that I have is Corey and Alicia. They were on X on the Beach 1 together. Her and Taylor got into a huge fight, which Corey was super antagonizing. So I think that it's a perfect fit. I would like to see how they work together as a team. The next team that I have together is Marie and Shane. We watched what happened on Final Reckoning, the alliance of the Lavender Ladies. When they were forced to kind of throw one of their own under the bus, Marie was the one that everybody was going for. That obviously hurt her feelings, so I think they're friends now, but it still would be entertaining for us to watch, I think. The next team that I put together is Polly and Nani. Nani and Kara have been not really getting along as of recent seasons, and then that fight between Polly and Nani that happened last season, I think that they could work well together if they can get past the bullshit, but I also think it would be entertaining to watch. The next team that I have is Brad and Kaylee. I don't really care for either of them, but following their big blowout that happened in the Redemption House on Final Reckoning, I think it would be interesting and entertaining to see how they really work together, if they can. And then the last team that I picked is Kendall and Marlon. They have really been going at it with each other on Twitter during this pandemic, and I really think it would be interesting to see if they would be able to squash their bullshit and be able to work together, or if they would just self-destruct. And for the alternate teams, I have Natalie and Victor. Again, I know Victor doesn't really have any interest in coming back, but I personally like Victor. Natalie and Victor were in the same alliance on Big Brother, but they were secretly kind of gunning for each other, so I would like to see what happens when they're put together. Devin and Tori Deal is the second team. They were on Are You the One Second Chances together, and they kind of basically were butting heads the entire time. Two alpha personalities just not clashing together. So I would like to see what happens when they're forced to be together in a team. And then this last team, I originally had them on the cast, but I don't really know if they would even really come on to be on each other's team, to be honest. It was really bad. It's Simone and Shane Raines. Obviously, we saw what happened on Dirty 30, so yeah, I mean, I think they're an obvious team to put here, but also, like, I don't know if it would ever actually happen. But yeah, that's my season for Clash of the Titans. If you have any feedback or any thoughts, drop them in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I love you.